Hi everybody and welcome to a brand new week of TNT as we whip around Thailand, catching up with all the main news stories and the issues behind the headlines, as well as around the region as well. Thank you to all those people that have subscribed to the channel, and of course we thank our ongoing sponsors, 5 Star Marine. Be a very nice day out on the water today, I would say. Airlines told not to be too greedy. That's a headline in the Bangkok Post. Phuket prices soar as demand booms. Now, we checked on some of the prices yesterday, and it looks like this really refers to the prices of a few weeks ago, because the prices have come down generally for that major route between Bangkok and Phuket. And the story says the Provincial Public-Private Joint Economic Development Committee in Phuket is warning airlines not to sell overpriced tickets to tourists who wish to travel to the resort island, especially during the long holidays. Now, big question whether the Provincial Public-Private Joint Economic Development Committee has actually got any teeth and whether it can be warning anybody about anything. The committee said on Saturday it will try to intervene in response to tourist complaints about rising fares, despite finding evidence the fares are now below the standard benchmarks. Now, this is two interesting things that I thought we should bring to your attention. According to the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand's notice, full-service flight operators can charge passengers no more than 13 baht per kilometre with baggage allowance of 20 kilograms, and then budget airlines can't charge more than $9.40 baht per kilometre. So just taking my shoes and socks off, that means for an 840 kilometre trip from Suvarnabhumi to Phuket International Airport, it means that full service airlines can't charge any more than around about 11,000 baht, and the discount airlines can't charge any more than 8,000 baht. That is absolutely no comfort to anybody, and the fares really haven't reached that stage yet. In fact, at the moment, you can get a flight one way for around about 2,000 to 3,000 baht. Certainly more expensive than I used to pay when I was doing the trip regularly every week in the past, but still nothing like what the Civil Aviation Authority has set as its cap price. And to our next story now, and this is from The Star. Thai economy seen growing at 3.8% this year on tourism income. And this is from the Finance Minister, and a story originally written by Reuters. Thailand's economy is expected to grow 3.8% this year, helped by a rebound in the vital tourism sector. That from the Finance Minister, a lot of other countries would be very happy to have a 3.8% growth in this financial year. Domestic spending has increased, according to the Finance Minister. He says, as the global slowdown hurts exports, tourism is our hope. And Southeast Asia's second largest economy expanded a weaker than expected 2.6% last year, lagging that of others in the region as its tourism sector just started to pick up. So the Asian economies generally have done quite well post-COVID compared to lots of other parts of the world. And when it comes to Thailand's case, a lot of this continued growth will depend on tourists continuing to come to the country. The Finance Ministry has forecast 27.5 million foreign tourist arrivals this year, after Thailand beat its forecast last year with just over 11 million visitors. And there were nearly 40 million foreign tourists in the pre-pandemic 2019. And down the bottom, the Finance Minister told Reuters that economic growth could beat forecasts with the return of Chinese tourists. That's the big question mark, isn't it? Will the Chinese return? I certainly don't personally see them returning in the numbers pre-COVID. And I think there will be a steady increase in the number of Chinese tourists this year. But the Chinese economy has got its own problems post-COVID, and I think that will affect the amount of people that will be travelling to other parts of the world and outside of China. Of course, we're yet to see, but certainly places like the island of Phuket, which its economy relies 95% on tourist numbers, will be hoping that the Chinese do return. Let's to see any more in that article. Finance Minister says an exchange rate of 34 to 35 baht per US dollar is helpful for export prices despite falling export volumes. We just did a quick check this morning with xe.com to see what the exchange rate is. It's currently 34.95. I think we could probably say 35 baht to the US dollar, and we can see that it's slowly just going on the rise at the moment. That means the Thai baht rising against the US dollar. And if we go back to October last year, we can see it reached 38.3 baht per US dollar. Well, as I get paid by Google, occasionally it's good to see a few more baht in the US dollar, and it looks to me like that chart is indicating some fluctuations that are more to do with the US dollar at the moment than the actual Thai economy. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. But for today, nearly 35 baht to the US dollar. So it is Monday, you're watching TNT. Thanks to all those subscribers out there. By the way, it doesn't cost you a cent. I don't send you rude emails or anything, but subscribing really does help the channel. Also, big thanks to 5-Star Marine. If you are coming down to the island of Phuket, you'd like to head out to the islands on a private tour, and it would certainly be a very nice day to do that today, consider 5-Star Marine. There's a link in the description of this video. You're watching TNT, and thank you to all the people that have helped us to reach 17,500 subscribers in 6 months, way beyond my projections, and I really appreciate the support. Let's go to our next story today, and this is from PTV News, which is out of the Philippines, and thousands of Russians flee to Thailand to escape the war. This story originally from Voice of America. Let's see what it says. Visitors are in Thailand, but they're fleeing Russia too. This next paragraph, I think, has got a few mistakes in it. Since Thailand fully reopened its borders and dropped COVID-19 restrictions in October, well, they started reopening the borders from January last year, but the final restrictions were removed. As that motorbike goes past, those final restrictions were removed in October last year. Russian arrivals have made up the third largest group of visitors, only behind Malaysia and India, according to government data. Well, if you look back over the last 12 months of data, perhaps that may be correct. But if you look at the last 2 or 3 months, the situation has changed radically. And my prediction is it's probably going to keep on changing. But over the past 2 or 3 months, Russians by far have been the most numerous arrivals across Thailand. And that's causing a few problems with immigration and other sectors of the tourism industry. And we're hearing about some of those kerfuffles from time to time. Article goes on to say that now thousands of Russians are looking for a new home, fearing economic woes in Russia and a military draft because of the Kremlin's war in Ukraine. Thailand has long been a popular holiday destination for Russian tourists. Well, certainly in the 5 years or so before COVID-19, Russians were always in the top 5 of the most numerous arrivals into Thailand. And then the third line there, Thailand has not followed the lead of Western countries and banned Russian visitors. Russian tourists have taken advantage of that. For the months of October, November and December, Russian arrivals into Thailand were more than 331,000 according to data from the Tourism Ministry of Sports and Tourism. And then thousands of those arrivals have also been investing, buying property or renting long-term in Thailand. I was speaking to one person over the weekend who said they've sold more than 90 properties to Russian people, exclusively Russian people, over the past 3 months. So somebody's making a pretty penny at the moment. And in the words of a sales manager for InDreams Phuket, they say over 90% of our clients are Russians. In November, when it was at the peak of people coming in, people were buying everything. And there is certainly a property shortage at the moment in Phuket. He says rental is totally chaotic right now. Villas were 300,000 baht per month, some of them now 1 million baht per month, and still people take it. Certainly hearing plenty of this anecdotally. Of course, there's problems with credit cards and bank transfers, so a lot of the Russian arrivals are just slapping cash down the table and paying vast amounts of money and over the going rate. And that goes for car rentals, for bicycle rentals, and for things like villa rentals or buying property as well. And he says not many people want to permanently leave Russia. They just want to make sure they don't have to go to war. When things go back to normal, they will most likely go back. Well, good question. And with so many Russian families now appearing to be making a new life in Thailand, and Thailand very happy for them to do so, will they go back if there's a change in the situation between Russia and Ukraine? So a lot of big questions, but I've said over the past 3 or 4 months that building your tourism industry on the back of a conflict in Eastern Europe is probably not a sustainable tourism model. And then this, since Thailand reopened its borders, the island of Koh Pha Ngan has also become popular among Russian visitors trying to escape the war. Soaring rental prices are forcing people to leave. This is a situation I've also heard a lot about with people who were formerly renting villas, houses and condos. The agent saying, sorry, got a much better price, you're out, because a lot of these people are on a month-to-month contract. This life coach from South Africa down the bottom there saying we must have messaged 30 different people. Most of them were booked out for a year. So it looks like accommodation is in short supply in Koh Pha Ngan, as well as the impact of the Russian arrivals is affecting that island as well. And Thai people can't get a good deal. Many people have called Koh Pha Ngan home for years are leaving. That's the very, very last thing we want to see, where local people are forced out of their communities because it's simply become too expensive for them to live there. Let's go to a Thai PBS World Story and Pattongtarn to be the Per-Thai Party's candidate for Prime Minister. Why is this important? Well, the Per-Thai Party is going to get the highest number of primary votes, which will put them in the best position to form a government and choose a Prime Minister. That's why this is important. Speaking to thousands of Chiang Rai people, the leader of the Per-Thai Party announced that the party had nominated Pattongtarn Shinawatra as the party candidate for the country's next Prime Minister. Each party can nominate up to 3 prime ministerial candidates. Per-Thai at this stage only announced 1. In a campaign rally on Saturday night, Cholnan told the audience that this was an auspicious opportunity to inform the people of the party's nomination of Pattongtarn in the presence of her brother, Pantongtai. So there she is. Is that the next Prime Minister of Thailand, the youngest daughter of former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, noting that it was Thaksin's sister, Yingluck Shinawatra, who was Thailand's last Prime Minister before the military coup in 2019. Now, here's a nice pleasant story for you from the Bangkok Post. Bullfighting, cockfighting and other animal betting venues to reopen. Sure, many of you are delighted to hear this news. Venues for various types of animal fighting and racing that allow betting closed since the onset of COVID-19 can now reopen. And down in the middle of the page there, the types of animal fighting and racing mentioned in the letter are bullfighting, cockfighting, fish fighting, cow racing and horse racing. The letter said the resumption will promote local tradition and culture and make way for local people to generate income. What, on betting? A bit more information about some of these activities. Venues for cockfighting and fish fighting must be well enclosed and far away from youths. Use of toxic substances for doping and sharp objects with the animals is prohibited. Given that the animals have got their own sharp claws and teeth that they can use, they probably don't need other sharp objects. The venues are allowed to open once a week on Saturdays or Sundays. Permits for cow racing can be issued according to local traditions and culture, but the events can't be held on important Buddhist holy days. Cow racing. I've never seen cow racing. I'm going to rush to YouTube and try and find evidence of cow racing. I would have thought that in the long list of mammals that can go fast, cows weren't some of them. So I'd be very interested to see exactly what cow... Do they mean buffalo racing? More likely to see somebody on the back of a buffalo charging across a paddock than a cow. And venues for horse racing can be reopened once a week as usual. Children and youths must not be allowed inside for betting. That seems to be a common theme across the reopening of these activities. And so you must keep the children away from betting. But it's okay if they see animals savagely kicking the shit out of each other. And some people seem to get pleasure out of this for some reason. Let's go to our next story today from thenationthailand.com. Khao San pub apologises, sacks short-tempered security guard for attacking a foreigner. Just see what the word attacking actually means. And a popular pub in Bangkok's Khao San Road has fired its security guard after he was captured on camera repeatedly slapping a young foreigner and handcuffing him. And this happened at Club Khao San yesterday, and they issued a statement saying they're deeply sorry about the security guard's behaviour and had fired him after the viral video came to their attention. Statement also said the management will try and track down the foreigner and compensate him for the attack. How the hell are they going to do that? The club's also filed a police complaint against the security guard, a 30-year-old Tongchai Sangchan. So exactly how did this get to the club's attention? Now we know. By Sunday afternoon, the clip had more than 13,000 responses and been shared more than 2,000 times. It drew more than 4,500 angry comments, mostly from Thais questioning the guard's behaviour. So shaming by social media strikes again. And with that, I thank you very much for watching today's update of all the latest Thai news. Please subscribe to the channel if you get an opportunity. And thank you to our sponsors 5 Star Marine. Most importantly, thank you to you. And we look forward to seeing you again with another TNT tomorrow.